ago, President Trump was arriving there in Tampa. National security and how we interface with the rest of the world couldn't be more important. Speak to us about this executive order and how fearful the immigrant community is that the ban could be reinstated.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. You know, one of the most important things is to recognize how this executive order is unconstitutional and inhumane. And so what we've seen is across the country last weekend, families thrown into complete limbo. A lot of people don't know that half of the refugee population that is slated to come to the United States is joining family members here. Most of them have waited in line for many years to get through that process. And so what the executive orders did is throw everything into chaos, and people were stranded. And we're so pleased that now, thanks to our great Attorney General from the state of Washington, very proud to be from that state, that we now have a stay on this executive order. Obviously, lots of things to come here. We are seeing that the national security question cannot and must not be framed as a question of immigrants against the United States. The United States is a land of immigrants. I myself am one of those, and I can tell you the barriers that we have in place for people to actually come to this country are substantial, as they should be.
Can you speak to that specifically? For people who don't necessarily know, when they hear the president say, I'm just trying to focus on border control and to keep you safe, given that you yourself immigrated, your family is from Indonesia, which has the largest Muslim population of any other country in the world. Talk to us about what vetting looks like today, putting aside the ban, before the ban. What's the process like?
Yeah, my family's from India, and it does have the largest Muslim population in the world. And, you know, even if you were to come here as a legal immigrant, as I did, it took me 18 years to get my citizenship. And I went through a whole series of alphabet soup visas in order to be here, in spite of being married to a U.S. citizen, having a son who's a U.S. citizen. And so it is substantial. For refugees, it is even greater because, as you know, until very recently, until this executive order, we were still only allowing about 110,000 refugees into the country each year. Now President Trump, through this executive order, was trying to cut that back to half. That is an extremely small number of people, and so the vetting to get into that line and to get through that process is often requires multiple agencies. Actually, every step of the way requires multiple agencies, not only international human rights agencies, UN agencies, but also all of our national security agencies are a part of that vetting process. There's about 20 steps that have to be gone through in order to get screened in. Syrian refugees, by the way, have the most extreme vetting and screening that we can see. And Judge Robart in Seattle, in issuing the nationwide stay, did speak to this and essentially said there is no proof that you are giving me to the government. He said this. There is no proof that you are giving to me that there's any logical reason, factually based reason, to put a ban on these folks.
Then is your issue that the spirit in which Donald Trump wanted to pursue this order or the way they executed it? Former spokesperson Jason Miller spoke earlier today, and he said this was Donald Trump trying to fulfill a campaign promise and get it done quickly.
Well, it's both. I mean, look, it is unconstitutional. I think the courts are going to tell us that over and over again. Multiple courts have already said that. But it is also incredibly badly executed. So, you know, it's a no-win for their side, I think, on both counts.
All right. Thank you so much. And apologies earlier when I made a mistake. India, not Indonesia. Apologies.
Thank you so much.
All right. We're going to take a break.